Mockingbird. Um, in 2007, How to Kill a Mockingbird is the only book that Harper Lee wrote, and she actually won the Presidential Award for her contribution to literature. I chose to read this part of the book because I feel it has, I don't know, it kind of shows Atticus attacking and proving that this woman is lying in a way. Okay. You say you're 19, Atticus resumed. How many sisters and brothers have you? He walked from the windows back down to the stand. 7, she said, and I wonder if they were all like the specimen I had first seen on the day I started school. You the eldest, the oldest? Yes. How long has your mother been dead? Dunno, long time. Did you ever go to school? Read and write good as Papa yonder. Malaya sounded like Mr. Jingle in a book that I had been reading. How long did you go to school? 2 year, 3 year, dunno. Slightly but surely I began to see the pattern of Atticus's questions. From questions that Mr. Gilmore did not deem sufficiently irrelevant or immaterial to object to, Atticus was building up before the jury a picture of the Evil's family and home life. The jury learned the following things. Their relief check was far enough to feed the family, and there was strong suspicion that Papa drank it all up anyway. He sometimes went off in the swamp for days and came back home sick. The weather was seldom cold enough to require shoes, but it was. You could make dandy ones from old strips of tires. The family hauled its water in buckets from a spring that ran down one end of the dump. They kept the surrounding area clean, and if you wanted to wash, you hauled your own water. The women had colds and suffered from chronic round itch. There was a woman who came around sometimes and asked Malaya if she didn't stay in school. She wrote down the answer. With 2 members of the family reading and writing, there was no need for the rest of them to learn. Papa needed them at home. Miss Malaya, said Atticus in spite of himself, a 19-year-old girl like yourself must have some friends. Who are your friends? The witness frowned as if puzzled. Friends? Yes. Don't anyone near your age or older or younger. Boys, girls, just, ordinary friends. Malaya hostility had subsided from grudging neutrality flared again. You make fun of me again, Mr. Finch? Atticus let her question answer his. Do you love your father, Miss Malaya? Was his next. Love him? What you mean? I mean, is he good to you? Is he easy to get along with? He does tolerable, except when Malaya looked at her father, who was sitting in her chair, tiptoed against the railing. He sat up straight, waited for her answer. Except when none, said Malaya. I said he does tolerable. Mr. Evil leaned back again. Except when he's drinking, Atticus asked so gently that Malaya nodded. Does he ever go after you? How do you mean? When he's riled, has he ever beaten you? Malaya looked around down at the court reporter, up at the judge. Answer the question, Miss Malaya, said Judge Taylor. My pa's never touched a hair on my head in my life, she declared firmly. He never touched me. Atticus's glasses slept a little bit, and he pushed them up his nose. We had a good visit, Miss Malaya, and now I guess we better get to the case. You say you asked Tom Robinson to come chop up a what? A chiffer robe? An old dresser full of drawers on one side? Was Tom Robinson well known to you? What do you mean? I mean, did you know who he was, where he lived? Malaya nodded. I know who he was. He passed the house every day. Was this the first time you asked him to come inside the fence? Malaya jumped slightly at the question. Atticus was making his slow pilgrimage to the windows as he has been doing. He would ask a question and look up, waiting for an answer. He did not see her involuntary jump, but it seemed to me like he knew she moved. He turned around and raised his eyebrows. Was he began again? Yes, it was. Didn't you ever ask him to come inside the fence before? She was prepared now. I did not. I certainly did not. One did not's not enough, said Atticus sneerily. You never asked him to do odd jobs for you before. I might have, conceded Malaya. There were several niggers around. Can you remember any occasions? No. Alright, now what happened? You said Tom Robinson was behind you in the room when you turned around, right? Yes. He said that I got you around the neck cussing and saying dirt. Is that right? 'Tis right. Atticus's memory became suddenly accurate. You say that he caught me and choked me and took advantage of me, right? That's what I said. Do you understand him beating you on the face? The witness hesitated. You seem enough that he choked you. All this time you were fighting back, remember? You kicked and hollered as loud as you could. Do you remember beating you around the face? Malaya was silent. She seemed to be trying to get some clearance to herself. I thought for a moment she was doing Mr. Hectate's and my trick of pretending there was a purse in front of us. She glanced at Mr. Gilmore. It's an easy question, Miss Malaya, so we'll try it again. Do you remember him beating you around the face? Atticus' voice had lost its comfortableness. He was speaking in his arid, detached, professional voice. Do you remember him beating you about the face? No, I don't recall if he hit me. I mean, yes, I do. He hit me. Was your last sentence your answer? Huh? Yes, he hit. I just don't remember. I just don't remember. It all happened so quick. Judge Taylor looked sternly at Malaya. Don't you cry, young woman, he began. Atticus said, let her cry, Judge, if she wants to. We got all of the time in the world. Malaya sniffed wraithily and looked at Atticus. I'll answer any question you got. Get me up here and mock me. Will ya? I'll answer any question you got. That's fine, said Atticus. There's only a few more. Miss Malaya, not to be tedious, you testified that the defendant hit you, grabbed you around the neck, choked you, and took advantage of you. I want you to be sure you have the right man. Will you identify the man who raped you? I will. That's him right yonder. Atticus turned to the defendant. Stand up. Let Miss Malaya have a good long look at you. Is this the man, Miss Malaya? Tom Robinson's powerful shoulders ripped underneath his thin shirt. He rose to his feet and stood with his right hand on the back of the chair. He looked oddly off balance, but it was not from the way he was standing. His arm was fully 12 inches shorter than his right, and his dead left at the side. And in a small, shriveled up hand, as far away from the balcony as I could see that it was no use to him. Scout, breathed Jim. Scout, look. Reverend, he's crippled. Reverend Skykes leaned across me and whispered to Jen. He's got a cotton gin when he was in Mr. Dolphus Raymond's cotton gin when he was a boy. Likely to bleed to death. Tore up all the muscle loose from the bones. Atticus said, is this the man who raped you? Most certainly is. Atticus' next question was one long word. How? Malaya was raging. I don't know how he done it, but he did it. I said it all happened so fast Now let's consider this calmly, began Atticus, but Mr. Gilmore interrupted with an objection. He was not irrelevant or material, but Bradicus was Beak Brown, the witness. Judge Taylor laughed outright. "Oh, sit down, Horace. He's done nothing of the sort. If anything, the witness is browbeaten Atticus. Judge Taylor was only in the courtroom." Was the only person in the courtroom who laughed. Even the babies were still. And I wondered if they had been smothered at their woman's breasts. "And now," said Atticus, "Miss Malaya, you testified that the defendant choked you and beat you. You didn't say that he sneaked up behind you and knocked you cold, but you turned around, and there he was." Atticus was behind his table. He emphasized in his words by tapping his knuckles on it. "Do you wish to reconsider any of your testimony?" "You want me to say something that didn't happen?" "No, ma'am. I want you to say something that did happen. Tell us more, please. What happened?" "I told you what happened. You testify that you turned around, there he was. He choked you. Is that what he said?" "Yes." "And then he released your throat and hit you, did he?" "Yes, he did. He blacked your left eye with his right fist." I ducked in it and it glanced. That's what I did. I ducked in and glanced off. Like I had seen the light. You become suddenly clear on this point. A while ago you can remember too well, could you? "I say he hit me, alright. Alright. He choked you. He hit you, then he raped you, alright?" "It most certainly is. You're a strong girl. What are you doing all the time? Just standing there?" "I told you I hollered and kicked and fought." Atticus reached up and took his glasses, turned his right eye to the witness, and rained questions on her. Judge Taylor, "One question at a time, Atticus. Give the witness a chance to answer." "Alright. Why didn't you run?" "I tried. Tried to. What kept you down from..." "He sung me down. That's what it did. He sung me down. Gone taught me." "You're screaming all this time." "I most certainly was." "And why didn't the other children hear me?" "Where were they? At the dump?" "Where were they?" No answer. "Why didn't your screams make them come and running?" "The dump's closer than the woods, isn't it?" No answer. "Or didn't seem that you saw, or you didn't scream till you saw the father in the window. You didn't scream until then, did you?" No answer. "Did you scream first? And father first?" "Is that Tom Robinson? Was that it?" No answer. "Who beat you up, Tom Robinson or your father?" No answer. "What did your father see in the window? The crime of rape or the best defense to you? Why don't you tell the truth, child? Didn't Bob Eagle beat you up?" And Tom turned away from Malaya, his stomach hurt. But Malaya's first face was a mixture of terror and fury. Atticus sat down wearily and polished his glasses with his handkerchief. Suddenly Malaya became articulate. "I got something to say," she said. Atticus raised his head. "Do you want to tell us what happened?" I did not hear the comparison in his compassion in his invite. "I got something to say, and I ain't got nothing more to say. That nigger yonder took advantage of me, and if you fine fancy gentlemen don't want to do nothing about it, then you all stinking cowards, the law of you. Your fancy airs don't come to nothing. Your ma'am and your Miss Malarian don't come to nothing, Mr. Finch." Then she burst into real tears. Her shoulders shook with angry sobs. She was as good as her word. She answered no more questions, even when Mr. Gilmore tried to get her back on track. I guess if she hadn't been so poor and ignorant, Judge Taylor may have put her in jail for the contempt she had shown everyone in the courtroom. Somehow, Atticus had hit her hard in a way that was not clear to me, but it gave him no pleasure to do so. He sat with his head down, and I never saw anyone glare at anyone with the hatred Malaya showed when she left the stand and walked by Atticus's table. And Judge Gilmore told Judge Taylor that the state rested. Judge Taylor said, "It's time we all take 10 minutes Atticus and Miss Gilmore in the front bench whispered, and then they all left the courtroom by the door behind the witness stand, which was a signal for us all to stretch. I discovered that I'd been sitting on the edge of a long bench and somewhat numb. Jim got up and yawned. Dill did likewise, and Reverend Skytes wiped his face on his hat. The temperature was an uneasy 90, he said. Braxton Underwood, who had been sitting in a chair reserved for the press, soaking up testimony with a sponge of a brain, allowed his bitter eyes to rove over the colored balcony, and they met mine. He gave a snorting look. Jim, I said, Mr. Underwood, Sr.